So I'll share my entire screen. And yesterday we had this information, or we had this code where we were checking the if else condition and else if condition. And we had worked on a lot on prompt as a function to let the user enter data, and then we can be able to display it on the console. So just to remind ourselves a bit, at this point we were creating a variable called first name, and we asked the user to enter their first name. Then we had the age, which they were also required to enter. They're also required to enter an integer, a 0 or a 1, if they're single or married in that order. And we wrote a code so that if they selected 1, then married becomes true, else it becomes false. We also checked the age that they entered. If the age was more than or equal to 20, then we treat that person as an adult. And then we also check whether they're married, because an adult could be or could not be married. It's not compulsory. If the age was greater than or equal to 13, then that is a teenager. But if the age is now or less than 13, because that's the only condition remaining, then that person is treated as a child. Just to reload and see what we are doing, we can start with enter your first name. Let's say the first name is Jane. How old is Jane? Because now Jane has been picked from what you entered earlier on. Jane could be 12. Married, 0. Married because they are teenagers. And this is what we have on the console. Jane is a child and is married, false. I think at some point here we need to change an to an article, just to have the English, flow, so that we don't make mistakes. Well, that was what we did yesterday. Now today, still on the if and else conditions, there is something called the logic operators. And I want to comment out this code up to that point. Then write the logic operators. Logic operators. These logic operators, we have what we call the AND, the OR, and the NOT. Those are the three logic operators that we will be dealing with here in this session. Now, of course, we'll be dealing with the if and else conditions. So we'll create a variable, and we'll be checking some value. And I wanted to maybe either use this one as the assignment that I gave you guys to do, or use something else. I want to come up with some different variables. So let's maybe I use height, so that we get someone to getting recruited to a Navy, the Navy, for example. So let height be equal to, we want this one to be entered from the user. So we'll say, what is your height? So we're letting the user to enter that information. Then also check the age, the gender. Gender. Then we'll also prompt them so that they select a value, either 1 or a 0, the male or female. we'll say enter 1 if now, or 0 if, let's say 2 or 2 if less than that. Now, I'm going to look for a value to use here so that we do negation with the and, the or, and the not as logic operators in JavaScript. So I'll say maybe let's just use those two. I think those two are okay. So I just want to mention a few things, how these logic operators work. That when we're using the AND operator, which is also represented by this, it's represented by the and or the ampersand, twice ampersand in JavaScript, is that all the cases must be true. So if I come up with a table, let me just do a simple table. Inside this comment. So we're talking about true and false using the AND operator. Then this is what we'll say, that if we have true and let me just move here and then get true. I want to come up with something like a table. So true and true is true. And I also want to create something like logo, call it false. True and false is false. So for AND logic operator, all the two conditions must be true for us to conclude that that is a true statement. Like if AND has to be the logic operator, then the two has to be correct. The two have to be true. The two conditions have to be true. Now, that's for the AND operator, which is also represented by double ampersand. Now, using the same, I want to create the what we call the OR operator. The OR operator is represented by two pipes, all those pipes. And for the OR operator, all we need is just one of them to be true. So true and true is true. True and false is going to be true again. Only one of the conditions has to be true and everything will be true. So up at gonna true condition and true, it will give us true. True and false will still give us true. So long as one of the conditions is true, then the whole of it is true. But for the AND condition, our logic operator is that all of them have to be true. So here you see true and true gives us true. But true and false gives us false because, as we said, the AND logic operator requires that we have both have to be true. The NOT operator. The NOT operator is represented by, or without having to indicate it, the NOT operator is represented by exclamation mark. what happens is we negate, we revert, like we invert in the condition. For example, if we say uh, less than 30, if you're saying that and then we negate it, not less than 30. So not less than that will be greater than that because we are negating it, like we are inverting it. Is that okay? So let's see how we apply that one. So here, for example, if we are saying we want to recruit some people to the Navy, let's say recruitment to the Navy. So height needed, the maybe let's say 5.7 feet for female, 6.2 feet for male. Still on the same, yeah, that's the condition. That's very okay. Now let's see how we can use the not, the or, and the and logic operators in JavaScript. So we'll create the if else, and else condition, and we'll get to display or to output the result of the candidate so that we can decide whether we can have them recruited or not. So at this point, we can say if, and of course we start with the parentheses, if the height of that candidate is greater than, so 5.7, and as I said, that's how we represent the AND logic operator. Gender is female. Gender is female, we said 1. Then write this code. So we'll say console. For this one, you just want display dot log she is female and is qualified. Can say something like that. So here we have applied the and the AND logic operator. And we said that for the AND logic operator, all the two conditions must be met. So if she is 5.7 feet and she's female, that's when she qualifies. If she's anything beyond or below this, even if she's female, she will not qualify. So let's see. We can write the else if, then we say height is greater than or equal to 6.2, and gender, sorry, gender is typed as 2, which is male, and we'll say, so let's just yeah, let's have the console dot log. Say he is male and is qualified. So we end our statement. Now, as well, remember that we can also have the equal sign here, because we say someone has to be from 5.7 feet or 6.2 for male. Is 5.7 for the ladies. We can use the else if again. But now I want us to conclude our statement. Else is the last thing that we can do. Else, I want just to display some content. I don't want to check any condition. So we can say console.log say candidate cannot be cannot participate. So this is the end logic operator. And here we are saying that depending on what the user has entered from this prompt of height, if it is greater than or equal to 5.7 and the gender is 1, then they are qualified as females. Because here we are also asking for that gender. Else, if the height is 6.2 and the gender is a male, then they're also qualified. Anything outside this information, then that is not a candidate to participate in this recruitment exercise. So, want to save and reload. What is your height? Let's say 5.7. Then enter 1 if female or 2 if male. So I want to enter 1 just to indicate that I'm female. And here displays she is female and is qualified. Now I want to run this code again and enter something different, just to make sure that the AND operator works as expected, because we said all the conditions must be true for this statement to be displayed. Else, this is what will be displayed. If you enter anything outside this information, then this is what you expect. So let's see. What's your height? 5.2. You male or female? You can even just do 1. They're female, yes, but the height is not the recommended one. Yeah, candidate cannot participate. So you realize the AND operator requires that these two conditions must be true for it to be true. Else, it cannot work. Let's check for male again. So we can say that this is 6.2 and he's male. Yeah, he's male and is qualified. Let's reload and check the height to be 6.7, which is okay, remember, because we said greater than or equal to. And we also say that it's male, still qualifies. Let's reload. What's your height? 6.7. let's say 4.2, someone can be 4.2, very short person, and we have 2, and they're male. The candidate cannot participate. So that is how the AND operator works. Now, yes,
Nimeelewa.
umeelewa hiyo part, eh? All right, now let's try the OR operator and see how it works. I think I'll just need to copy all this information and use it for the OR operator. So just copy that and retain the variables. So I'll put it down here and indicate that this is a OR operator. At this point, I'll just maybe just comment out. Sorry, I'll comment out this code so that now I can work with it. And instead of using the AND, I'll now use the OR operator. And that's how we represent the OR operator. Even here, I'll do that. Remember, we said that for the OR operator, we only need one of the conditions to be true. And that's all. The whole of it will be true. Unless both are not true. That's when this one will be displayed. So let's see that this user enters the height, but the gender is the gender could be correct, the height could be wrong. So long as one of them is correct, you have this thing working. So again, load. They're asking what's your height, 4.8. What's your gender? 1. You know this one will still qualify because she's female, even if the gender is wrong. See, yeah. So it works. She's female and is qualified. Let's try for male. Male are required to have a 6.2 or above. But let's say they have 6.1. But they are male. So they sorry, which one is that? Female and qualified. Supposed to be male and qualified. Let me see. What's the height? 5.2. Male or female 2. He is male and has qualified. So long as one of the conditions is correct, they work. But let's see a condition where the two have to be incorrect for this candidate not to qualify. In that case, let's try with the female. Female has to be greater than or equal to 5.7, but they are 4.8. They have to be female, which is 1, but they are male. In that case, sorry. Yeah, we selected 2 so that male they will still qualify. Maybe just enter a different value. Height 4.8. Male or female, someone entered 3. The candidate cannot participate. So for the OR logic operator, the 2 conditions are available and only one of them has to be true and the rest is true. Doesn't matter. So long as one of them is true, then it's correct. But if the 2 are not correct, if the 2 do not satisfy the conditions, then it's not going to work. That is the OR operator. Let's talk about the not, like negation. It's also called that. So not operator, so the not, and it's represented by that. The OR operator is represented by the pipes, the 2 pipes there. So now how do we show it? Maybe I'll use a different approach to this one. Let me comment out this up to that point. Then let's check something. If, just write an if condition again. If not 3 is greater than 2. And I want you to just follow and see what happens here. We're trying to negate the condition. We know 3 is greater than 3, greater than 1, but we are saying we are negating it so that we make it look like it's 3, but it's less than 1. So if this is correct, then console.log this is true. And I'll explain what that is, what happening here. So let me just run this condition and refresh. Where are we? Where do we need this? So just click OK. We don't need that. So nothing is being displayed here. Let's get the result for nothing being displayed. Console.log say this is false. Let's save. And let me comment out this one. We don't need them yet at this point. So just control, I just hold control and press the /. So if I save that and reload, says this is false because we are negating this if 3 is greater than 1. So we know 3 is always greater than 1. But if we say negate, change that so that 3 is less than 1. If that happens, then say it's true. If it can't happen, then say it's false. So JavaScript is checking. Is there a way 3 is greater than 1? And realizes, no, there's no way. Then it's displaying false. That's why we have false here. Let's try to change this sign to be like that. Save, reload. This is true now. This is true. That 3 is less than 1. Negate. If you negate that, like reverse it so that it looks like 3 is greater than 1, then that's correct. I don't know whether you're following.
I'm following.
All right. So what happens here is that we are changing the fact that 3 is less than 1. And we know it's never been less than 1. But if we say not, so that we change it to look like the other way around, so that it's now 3 is greater than 1, then we display it. For example, if we remove this exclamation mark here, what will be the display? This one.
Yeah, false.
So if we refresh, false. There is no way 3 is less than 1. But we negate it, like we reverse that result, then it's going to be true. So that is how we work with the OR, the NOT, and the AND logic operators. Hizo umezielewa vizuri? Sawa. I think that should really help. you to understand that better. Were you able to submit the assignment?
I texted you today morning and told that yesterday I was busy with some classes.
Okay.
So I will do it today afternoon and I will send it.
Sir, there's no problem. So using the if and else conditions to show how the not, the or, and the and logic operators work has been successful that way. So um, I don't know whether we can talk about something else. Let me just check a few things. And in about 1 minute, again, you'll use the same link to join because I realized this